Hey guys, it's Becky from Me, Myself and Misha, and welcome to our next tutorial. Today we are going to run through how to set up a new media roll in your BN2-20 and also how to get accurate cut lines to make sure that you don't have like white gaps on either side of your prints. I've got a whole bunch of different types of media that I use with my printer. The one I'm installing today is going to be what I'm going to use for labels, for my packaging. Okay, so we are going to start off by getting our sub power turned on. We're going to open up the BN2 utility. And then we're also going to open up VersaWorks just so that when we are ready to print, I have something to show you as a test. Okay, so we are going to start off nice and simple. This little lever over here, you're going to lift that up. That's going to lift the media clamps, and that means you can then roll the media that you already have straight back out, or if you haven't got any media in here yet at this stage. And then we can lift this whole bar out. Now I'm going to point the camera down just so that you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so on your bar, over this end, you have a little lever that can pop open and lock in. So we're going to open that up and we're going to slide this piece. This is the left-hand side of your bar. We're going to slide this piece off. Now, sometimes these rolls can be heavy, so I always just prep them on a stool. And then we are going to take the other side with the bar still attached and we're going to slide it out. Now, we are then going to take our heavy new roll of media, pop it on a chair. We're going to take our bar, slide it back into the same side. When you're taking your media off, have a little look as well. I always kind of prep like so I can pull the roll towards me. You want the printable media facing up and the bar that kind of permanently sits in the machine and doesn't get open to the right hand side. Then we are going to slide this guy back on the far end and we're going to make sure that that goes right in to the cardboard and a pole in the middle. Let me show you another one. So you want to make sure that that is tucked right in up against this kind of cardboard ring in the center. And then to lock it in, our little clamp, we are going to click in. And then we are going to take this, the end that we don't ever really need to touch is going to sit on the right hand side. And we're just going to sit it back in. This bar sits in here. And this is the side you adjust. So if your media is a little bit shorter or a little bit longer, this is always the end that you adjust. And then on this side, you've got the round mechanism that sits right in here into this piece. And then your metal bar that sits here. Now, if you've got a BN2, you'll know that you feed it from the front. So we're going to start off by lifting up our front cover. We're going to take our media roll. Now I'm going to eyeball this a little bit. You can see our, oh, you can't, okay. You can see our two clamps on the left-hand side. We're going to slide them in a little bit because we want to make sure that they catch the media as it comes through and then we can adjust it. So we're going to take our media and we're going to slide it from underneath. You'll hear it beeping to let me know that it knows there's something going in. We're going to slide it underneath our pinch rollers. And also under our media clamps. And we're going to bring it about this far forward. Now, with our media clamps on both sides, there's two little white dots. Let me see if I can get the camera closer so I can show you. So these two little white dots, they're on both sides. Your media wants to be about halfway through those two little white dots. So I'm going to slide this to the left a little bit. And that way you can see that half the white dot is filled with my media and half the white dot is filled with the silver underneath. I'm going to take my pinch roller and I'm going to scooch it to the left a little bit just so that it touches this clamp. And once that's all in place, we are then going to take our lever, press down, and that lowers the pinch rollers down onto the media so they are now stuck in place. We can lower a lid and then we can get the media actually ready. The BN2 automatically works out the best settings for printing, so we're going to go straight in with that. Okay, so from this load media screen, we are going to set up a new paper in our machine. So we're going to go to setup. We're going to click this create new media button here at the top left. And we are going to call it Subgra 1304. I'm just going to put labels after the media name just so that I know what my intended purpose of the media is. So load the media and make sure that the loading lever is lowered, and then we can just click OK to start setup. So we now have two options. We have print only or print and cut, or cut only. So you would choose cut only if it was a colored vinyl and you weren't intending to print on it at all. But with this media, we want to either print it only or print and cut. It is going to be a print and cut media. So this is the option here that we're going to select, and we're going to click OK. So it now wants to print a nozzle dropout test. So that will give us an idea if there's any nozzles that aren't printing properly. So we're going to click output and just see how it prints as it is part of the setup process. Okay, so I know you guys can't see that yet, but I will show it to you. We have had a perfect nozzle test print. So once we've clicked OK on our nozzle check pattern, we are going to go with this option here then appears. So we've got select media adjustment method. So we have a option for a simple correction, which is auto, or a detail correction, which is manual. I have always just chosen the simple correction and let the machine do it by itself. So I'm going to click OK on this, and then I'm going to swap back to the printer so that you can see what it's doing. So here, just before I swap over, it is telling me the following items will be executed automatically: multi-sensor adjustment, feed correction, media gap adjustment. Click OK to print the test pattern. The printing area of a width of 300 millimeters or more is required for printing. So we're going to click OK. Now it's telling me the adjustment is in progress, so I'm going to swap back to the printer. So once your printer has finished this process, your media is essentially set up and ready to use. Okay, so there is one more thing that we need to do once we have finished that process, and we are going to go over to these three little dots up here, or three little lines up here. We're going to click on that, and we are going to scroll down to the print and cut adjustment. So this determines how close to the edge of our printer is cutting. So if it's very off slightly and you're getting a white border around your prints, you're going to need to edit in here. So we're going to click on execute. And generally speaking, I always just use output number 1. That helps me to determine if I need to move my cutting to the left or to the right or up or down. So I'm going to click on output, and then we're going to swap back to the printer to have a look and see what it does. So it's printing a little black box on both sides. I did do this twice. I forgot to press record the first time. So now it has printed the two black boxes. It's going to cut around them, and then I'll be able to show you guys what our results are. So I've got a little tweezers and I'm just going to use that to pull the print out. I'm starting on the left-hand side. Now, when I hold this up in front of the camera, you can see there is quite a lot of white over here on the right-hand side. So I'm going to stick that there. You can see that there, right? You guys can see the white. And then I'm going to peel this side off. And again, quite a lot of white on the right-hand side. So I'll swap back to the computer and show you what we need to do. Okay, so as all of our white was just on the right-hand side, the top and bottom was absolutely fine. It is just this S layer that we need to edit. So we need it to cut more left. So we are going to go down here to where it says our scan adjustment value. And we are going to put that to minus 0.1. In fact, let's just do minus 0.15 because it is quite a lot of white. And I'm going to click apply. Now, if you don't click apply, this will do nothing. So you need to make sure you click apply. And then we're going to click output 1 again, and it's going to print the same thing again, but give us different results. Print it again, and it's going to cut it again for us now. Okay. So remember, this was our first results. This one here was the left, this one here was the right. So let's start again with our left. Okay, so I'm going to try and get this as close to the camera as I can. You can see that there's definitely less white on it this time, but there is still a little bit, so we need to do it some more. You guys see that? So definitely less, but still too much. And again, with this side, bottom one was the last print, top one was the most recent one. So definitely less, but again, still too much. So let's keep them there. So we are going to go back down here to our minus adjustment, and we are going to bring that down to minus 25 this time. We're going to click apply, and we are going to print again. And this is a process that we are going to keep repeating, doing small increments at a time until our cutting is 100% accurate. Every time you set up a new media, you will have to do this for each different media type. Okay, so this time around, the left-hand side, there is barely any white visible on that top one. So we are going to adjust it again, but we are almost there. And the right-hand side, again, the teeny tiniest amount, but honestly, right-hand side is good. So we're going to adjust it just a small amount. So I'm going to adjust it down to minus 30. Click apply, and we will try that again. And if my results this time around were better than what our new results are going to be, then I'll put it back down to about 28. But let's give this a go and see. Have a look. So guys, you can see that they are almost entirely bang on. This one still has a teeny tiniest amount, but the one on the right, absolutely no white on that one at all, actually, now that I look at it up against the other one. So we are always going to do an internal offset with a cut. So that teeny tiny bit that you can see on the left-hand side, once we have our internal offset on, that won't exist. So we want to make sure our current value is set to whatever we have just decided on. So minus 30. We're going to click apply again just to be sure. And then we're just going to click OK. And that's going to close this screen down. Now, if I open up VersaWorks, I am going to print. Let's have a little look at this. These are my return address labels. They're already in there. They already have their contour cut line added. I do have another video on contour cut lines. So if you need help adding them, check out my other video. So we're going to open this up. We're going to click on Get Media Width. And I am just going to print a row of these out so that you guys can see how accurate our cuts now are. There are a few things to bear in mind. I do tend to swap between a 45 and 60 degree blade, so I've got a few settings that I need to edit. But in our media type, we want generic vinyl, high quality, and then down here in our cut controls, the last time I cut these, I had a 45 degree blade in here. I've now got a 60 degree blade in at the minute. So we're going to change this to cut and print, which means there is no dry time for the printing afterwards before it starts to cut. So we have it set to cut and print. I'm going to just edit these cutting conditions a little bit. I'm going to change the cutting force to 80. And because I have a 60 degree blade, I'm going to change my blade offset to 0.5. For 45 degree, you want to work at 0.25. For a 60 degree blade, you want to work at 0.5. I'm going to click OK on that, and we are going to send it to print. So that is going to cut first, and then it's going to print. So I'm going to swap back to the printer, and you can watch that happen, and then I can show you how accurate those cuts are. Okay, so I'm just going to sheet cut this so that I can accurately show you how accurate our prints are. You can see on this, I can see on this, the teeny tiniest amount of pink all the way around the sides. And on our actual sticker, no white. So guys, thank you for joining me for today's video. I hope you found it useful and helpful, and I hope it encourages you to buy some different types of media and try some new things with your BN2-20. Setting up new media is super easy. If you buy it from a company like Quadian, they'll cut down the really big rolls into rolls that do actually fit inside our printer because we are 50 centimeters wide. If you guys have any questions, please pop them below. If you're struggling with anything with your printer, let me know and I will do my best to get a video done up for you. If you want to check out my website, it is www.memyselfandmisha.com, and my socials on Instagram, TikTok and Facebook are also at memyselfandmisha. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!